Well, Tim, you execute nicely in the back end of that first half, the lead at the break, but then go scoreless for the second 40. How did you see that second half?
5 yardage penalties walked them down our end. That didn't help, and half a dozen, loose balls, that type of thing as well. So, we didn't help ourselves that way. We burned ourselves up. We didn't have much ball on their goal line in that second half, and that's somewhat our own fault. But I thought we were pretty hard done by in a couple of decisions. But nevertheless, we probably didn't deserve to win it. No.
I was going to ask about the yardage penalties you referred to. Was that your own ill discipline, or did you get the rough end of the stick there? Are there a couple that stand out to you?
Look, these are the sort of things you go through again in the cold, hard light of day tomorrow, which I'll do, and then just we'll assess it from there. But no, I think on the night, we shot ourselves in the foot a number of times, which at the end of the day came back to bite us.
Especially when you finish that close, I suppose it's frustrating when you do it to yourself.
Somewhat, yeah.
If you're looking for a positive, Dane Laurie's performance tonight at 5'8", I think 20 tackles for only one miss, and physical tackles as well. Just assess his game for us.
He's a tough kid, and we've always known that. And I thought he played pretty well, to be quite honest. He's short side. He's very good at it. He delivered some good ball to the edges. They could have done a little bit more with it at times.
Tim, you mentioned a couple of decisions there. Were you referring to the Matt Feeney one, I think? He didn't go to the sin bin for that high tackle in the first half?
Again, I'll wait to make comments on it tomorrow after I have a really good look at it. We had trying to get up off the ground and call a lost ball or played it to, when they had hold of us is another one. So there's a couple there, but I'm not going to go whinging about that at the moment. I'll need to have a good look at it before I make a decision on those things.
Do you feel like you're that far away from another win?
We're only a couple of points tonight, so we just again our options, a kicking game, first half put it into the fence 2 or 3 times, and that's just not good enough. So there's areas of our game we need to improve, and that'll be with the injury coming back, possibly Brooksy in the next week. If not the week after, Staines will give us a bit more to choose from as well. So we just have to, and we lost Blory in the warm-up tonight. So we can cop a bit of bad luck here and there, but again, we could have won that game as well, and it's our own fault.
What's the prognosis on Bloor? Because he's been good for you the last few weeks. What was the issue in the warm-up?
He had a strain in the thigh and in warm-up, and we weren't prepared to risk it. He wasn't going to be. I didn't want to not finish the game. I wanted to finish the game with 17, not with 16, and we weren't going to beat him with one man down. So we'll just have to look at next week. I think it's only going to be a minor thing to be right, but just tonight, it just was too late to get him on the field.
Tim, how do you keep motivating the boys in a time like this with so many losses back to back?
Yeah, well, they're professionals, and I understand what you're saying about motivation, but by the end of every week they're ready to play. There's ups and downs and media and so on around our club, but I'm not looking to as we've said to the players, Benji and I, that you're paid to play professional football, and that's what you've got to do. You can't bring your home to work, and you can't take your work back home. You've got to be learned to be able to do those things and keep your focus on what you're doing at the moment. That's their living, right? It's their living, and if they want to continue to make a decent living, they've got to do better than that.
When you look at the numbers, dominated possession, really dominated territory, twice as many offloads, more than 300 run metres advantageous over the opposition, only 12 missed tackles. There seem to be some really good building blocks statistically. What do you consider to be the best building blocks out of tonight?
Well, what you've just put out there tells you that possession was pretty good, but we just you did talk about penalty count and some of the lost ball we had, which is just crucial in that there was too much of it in the second half. In one half of football, we walked them down. So the next ball you get, even though we diffused most of these kicks and so on, and stopped them from scoring to with some really decent tackling, we were just starting from our end all night. didn't get the penalties we needed at times to probably get ourselves out of trouble that you hope for, and didn't happen. And then when we did get our chances, we missed it by that much on so many occasions over this year. It's not been funny.
And again, if he stays fit, RP Coruscant shows that he can have a real influence for you guys over the last 6 rounds now.
Yeah, that's for sure. He's still finding his legs from having a month off with the jaw. So he did much better tonight than he did last week, and I'd expect him to be closer to a full game next week.
Tim, I don't think I've had a chance to talk to you since yesterday when the Fainu brothers signed for the club, and Appy obviously re-signed for another couple of years. What's it mean just to have that bit of good news and positivity around some of those players coming to the club, and obviously Appy, your captain, staying for a couple of extra years?
All this came late in the week, so I haven't really absorbed it or thought what to do and not do. When you get to the end of a week, you're really focusing on what you're doing on the training park and getting the team ready. So that's all I've been thinking about. I'm not interested in worrying about the other things. That'll come maybe during the week when we sit down and have a further planning sessions about ongoing recruitment. At the moment, I've got to patch them up. We've got to patch them up and get them ready for next week.
Tim, you've been coaching a long time, mate. Is there something you can draw on in your coaching experience to sort of drag yourself out of this? You've lost 7 on the trot now. Can you remember a time in your coaching career when you've had a big string of losses that you've...
Yeah. Get the injured players back. That's the secret. Unfortunately, it's not going to happen. We won't see Adam back this year, or maybe not even next year. Brooksy's, as I said, a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. So those sorts of losses during the season have just put big holes in parts of our season. We had those 3 wins, and we're starting to sort things out a little, even without Adam. And then it's just fallen away because of we've experimented with positions and filled holes for injuries and so on and so on. So again, I'm not going to offer any excuses.
Sean Broad, just a niggle. Will he be back, do you think, next weekend?
Hopefully. One of those things that happen, you get it in warm-up, you can't actually judge it, only he can judge it, and he didn't look comfortable, so the medical staff made a call, and we brought Fanua back into the squad.
All good.
Okay, thanks guys.